How do I get my husband to want to join me at church? I hate going alone. You know, that's kind of a, like, fast forward to the question about should I date or marry a non-Christian. There are many, many people in the church who are in that position. Yeah. They've been married to someone who's not. And I would say, first of all, that covenant of marriage supersedes any principle we've talked about before. If you're married, you need to stay in that covenant. That's it. Honor that covenant. The Bible speaks to it. But this is one that came in ahead of time. And I wanted to ask our campus pastor up at the North Charleston Dream Center, Sam Lesky, as well as his wife Joan, to speak to that, because that was their story. So take a minute and listen to their story.
Well, we moved here to Charleston when my kids were young, and I had no family, no friends, and I met this woman on the playground.
I call her, the woman we met on the playground, I call her the crazy lady, because she was just too happy.
She was not
and
crazy.
too full of joy.
She befriended me. After a while, she invited me to a Bible study, and they had childcare, and so I'm thinking, I could learn a little bit about God. I grew up Catholic, and so anyway, I go to this small group, and it's on how to be a good wife. And at this point, I am not the best wife. I wasn't that nice, and so anyway, so I started implementing some things. I started having dinner on the table. I started have his slippers by the door, and he'd look at me like I was crazy, but I was being nice and patient with my kids.
So the crazy lady from Seacoast was rubbing off on her, taking her to Bible study, teaching her to pray, teaching her to read the Bible, and teaching her how to have a godly attitude.
And so finally I asked him to go to church, and that was not an easy task. And so he went once, and then
I seen the change in my wife, and I knew that obviously what Seacoast was doing and what church was doing and what God was doing in my wife's life was major, and it was a great thing. It was great to see the joy in our house, the joy in our kids. So I knew that I had to come along and see where this was coming from.
And it was not an easy task. It was hard. He was tough. And so, but I kept being consistent with him. I kept just trying to, I'd pray, and I wouldn't watch the soap operas. I'd just pray to God. And so anyway, I just, and God answered my prayers, but it did take a process. It was a process.
So I encourage you, ladies out there who need to get your husbands to church, I just encourage you, to pray, to read the Word, and to just live it out at home. Live it out before your husband. And I don't mean for a week or 2 weeks, but be consistent and just live it out. Go above and beyond. If you want drastic change, then take drastic measures. And I'm so thankful for Joan for taking those drastic measures, for making that change, and for leading our family in a walk with God, where we could be a part of a great church and great small groups and just continue to serve God.